At a market cap of $750 billion, Apple Inc. recently became the single most valuable company in history. It has $34 billion in cash, sells $224 billion in products every year, and is raking in an incredible $50 billion on the bottom line. Simply put, the brainchild of Steve Jobs has become an absolute powerhouse in the world of tech. Wired magazine even once referred to the company's flagship product as the unstoppable, unbeatable iPhone. But in just 3 minutes, I'm going to show you a video clip that will completely change the way you see Apple Inc. and its flagship product. What I'm about to show you has Tim Cook and company shaking in their boots, because the $7 tech firm behind it is guaranteed to challenge the dominance of what's currently the largest and most powerful corporation in the world. More importantly though, this video clip could have profound implications on your personal and financial future. It showcases a new product that will drastically change the way you and I interact with the world, and it could even make you a fair amount of cash in the process. But before I show you that clip, I'm going to start off by making a rather bold prediction. And I have to warn you, what I'm going to say might sound a bit crazy at first, but after watching this presentation and learning everything that I know, I think you'll understand. And if you don't, that's okay. I know not everyone will be able to see the forest for the trees here, but for those that do, this could completely change your view of the future. More importantly though, it could pad your bank account for years to come, if you choose to take the advice that I'll have for you at the end of this presentation. So here it is, my bold prediction. You can even mark it on your calendar if you please. By 2021, less than 5 years from today, that iPhone sitting in your pocket, or maybe you have an Android like me, is going to become completely obsolete. But I don't just mean your particular phone or my particular phone. I mean smartphones altogether. In the very near future, consumers around the world will look back at today's smartphones the same way we look at floppy disks and flip phones today. Again, I know that right now it probably sounds like that could never happen. But let me explain exactly how I arrived at this stunning conclusion. Now, some of you may already know who I am, some of you may not. My name is Jason Stutman, and I get paid to learn about the technology industry and hunt down innovative, disruptive companies that are changing the rules of the game. I absolutely love my job. I get to do some really cool stuff and see some really cool things. From surgical robots to miniature drones to the next generation of 3D printers, I've been fortunate enough to test countless different kinds of technologies well before they even hit the market. But there's one kind of technology that I've been privy to testing out that absolutely blows my mind every time I use it and completely changes the way that I think about the future of consumer electronics. This technology, I believe, will make these amazing pocket-sized computers that we've become so accustomed to over the last decade a thing of the past. And I'm not alone either. Tech visionaries like Mark Zuckerberg are already hailing this technology as the obvious next step after smartphones, and they've been spending billions of dollars to make sure of it. Microsoft and Google have been too. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That could never happen. And quite frankly, I wouldn't blame you. After all, we use our smartphones for everything these days. Checking our email, getting directions, talking to our friends and family, watching shows, playing games. So when I tell you you're not going to need one of these devices in just a few years from today, I probably sound pretty nuts. And just a few years ago, I would have thought I was nuts too. But then something amazing happened. Back in 2013, I was given a demo of this incredible device. Now at this point in my career, I was still a little wet behind the ears, but not quite as much as the prototype that I was testing. As I'm sure you can tell, this device wasn't anywhere near commercial production at the time. Anyone who wore it would have looked, well, about as silly as I do in this picture. But technology moves incredibly fast these days, and you'd be pretty amazed to see what this product, and products like it, look like and are doing today. So what is this gadget I just showed you? Well, there are a number of different names for it, but I like to call it the iPhone Killer. The kind of device that will bring Apple Inc., the world's largest and most successful company ever, to its knees. Now I must warn you, this isn't something that's going to happen overnight, but it will happen, and it will happen much sooner than most people think. And as it does, savvy investors who take the right course of action will be rewarded beyond measure. I've tested the technology, I've poured through the patent filings, and I can tell you this. Apple is so incredibly far behind with this tech that the only thing that it can do, the only thing that will save it, is to abandon its flagship product, the iPhone, altogether. Again, I know that's difficult to believe, especially since nearly 80% of Apple's revenue currently comes from the iPhone, but I have plenty of facts to back up my case. The first fact, you're going to have to see to believe. I'm going to show you just how amazing this iPhone killer really is in a moment, but let's take a step back first and talk a little bit about smartphones for a second.